Hi guys, Jessica Wright here from Seller Labs. This month I wanted to bring you a deep dive into a new program that's getting a lot of buzz, and that's Amazon's warehousing and distribution, also known as upstream storage or AWD. So this is something that is newly rolled out. It is currently in a closed beta, but it was announced at Accelerate this year and has been utilized in some ways with some other global shipping programs for Amazon, but it's just coming to the average seller as part of the FBA program now. Amazon warehousing and distribution is kind of how Amazon is managing their excess fulfillment center needs. They definitely loaded up on a ton of fulfillment centers during the pandemic to make sure they could meet demand. But now that demand is slowing down, they need to reduce that footprint. They need to save some costs related to fulfillment centers, and this is the solution. They're repurposing a bunch of fulfillment centers as warehousing and distribution centers. So what the difference is there, Amazon's fulfillment centers have always been intended to be short-term solutions. So if you send goods to their fulfillment centers, they want those to turn very quickly, and they are, looking at individual units. So everything is based on the individual unit in and out and a quick turn. Warehousing locations are the complete opposite of that. They're basing things on larger quantities. So minimum pallet loads, or truckloads, or even container loads if you're bringing your things in from overseas. And then same concept, bigger things, longer storage. So fulfillment centers are smaller shipments, your individual pieces, and quick turnaround. Warehousing and distribution is larger shipments, longer storage. They're meant to be a replacement to your current 3PL situation. So as Amazon says, Amazon warehousing and distribution provides a simplified upstream bulk storage solution that empowers you to automatically and optimally position your inventory in prime-ready fulfillment centers. And they're touting a lot of benefits to this, but the one thing everyone is talking about is this one right here. Automatic replenishment via Amazon warehousing and distribution allows you to bypass storage quantity limits within FBA. So essentially what this means, although it's not specifically worded exactly like this, and I'd love to see it worded like that just so there's no ambiguity, but basically you can utilize this product to work around restock limits. We have restock limits, and we know we have storage volume limits. They don't mention either one of those by name here, but because of this second phrasing, we know that this is the solution that we're looking for with regard to the restock limits. If your product goes out of stock in prime-ready fulfillment centers, it will still be searchable and buyable as long as there's sufficient inventory at AWD locations. So with your goods in AWD, Amazon is going to automatically replenish your FBA inventory for you. It's going to take a look at what you have at AWD, what you have at the fulfillment centers, and make sure that they're moving inventory upstream to keep you in stock for FBA. And if there is an out of stock, although they are saying that this should ensure automated replenishment and 99% in-stock guarantees, if there is an outage, they're still going to utilize the inventory that is in the AWD locations to fulfill those orders. So in essence, this program should be your solution to the restock limits that have plagued everyone for the last 2 years. Great news. If for nothing else, that's the benefit you're looking for. But of course, there are other benefits like Amazon integrated transportation. So a lot of times that does mean, not always, but a lot of times that does mean less expensive transportation costs. And then the simple, transparent pay-as-you-go pricing. So as compared to a typical 3PL, Amazon warehousing and distribution should afford you a much more straightforward fee schedule, which we will talk about later. So jumping down to the next section here, how does it work? It's 3 simple steps. You're going to send your eligible SKUs to the AWD locations using Amazon Global Logistics or other carriers. You're going to have a couple of options there. Then you're going to be able to view your global inventory using the Global Inventory Viewer. And this is important because the goods that you send to AWD aren't just going to be available to send upstream to FBA. These can be used for your entire fulfillment network. So if you're selling into traditional brick and mortars, if you're selling on other marketplaces, no matter how you're utilizing these goods, you can use these locations to fulfill for all of your channels. You can also bring in goods from overseas directly from your factories and land them right at these locations. So from one end of your supply chain to the other, you can use the global inventory viewer to see what's going on with all of your inventory. And then you can keep track of this using the shipping queue. So basically, however you've been creating shipments to date, whether you've been doing everything domestically and have been doing it all through Seller Central, or if you have been bringing goods in and have been using Shipper Central, however you've created shipments up until this point, you'll still be able to create shipments the same way, utilizing either Seller Central or Shipping Central. And the only change will be the location you're sending to. Instead of having it be an FC, a fulfillment center, it will be one of the AWD locations. Super easy. There are some exclusions, however, so let me show you that. Product eligibility, I'll gloss over some of this, but basically anything in grocery or anything that's considered perishable, even if it has a long shelf life, if it's expiration dated, it's going to be excluded from this program. Pretty much anything dangerous goods or hazmat, although here they list out some specific levels of hazmat. I would say in general, if your product is considered a dangerous good, for now, this isn't the program for you. As things evolve, we assume Amazon will definitely be adding more fulfillment centers, more warehouse locations and changing up some of the eligibility, but that's just going to be dependent upon expanding that footprint and as well kind of testing things out and see what works and what doesn't before they start adding different sizes and different product type eligibilities. Also excluded is going to be anything that typically has a different rate card for FBA. So shoes, jewelry, watches, any high value goods, those sort of things for now are excluded as well. And then the size restrictions are both on the carton level and on the individual SKU level. So for cartons, your goods can't be larger than 25 by 25 by 36 and no more than 50 pounds. So that's for all your case packs. For your individual SKUs inside of any carton, those can't exceed 18 by 14 by 8 or be any larger than 20 pounds. So those are your specific product eligibility requirements. Anything outside of that, you're good to go. You can start utilizing as soon as you get included in this beta or as soon as they open it up. But then there are also FBA level restrictions. So if your products aren't currently eligible for FBA for a reason like you've got stranded inventory or inactive items due to suppressions or policy violations, something like that, or if you have any account level restrictions, you will not be able to utilize this program right now, either for a portion or for any of your catalog. So go ahead, make sure you've got everything cleaned up and you're in good standing, and then try to get into this beta and start utilizing AWD. As I mentioned, however you're sending in goods now is how you're going to be able to continue sending in goods. The only difference is if you're the primary user in Seller Central, you'll be able to go straight into send to Amazon and create your shipments like you have been for anything else. And like I had mentioned, just you'll choose this location, an AWD location instead of a fulfillment center for your ship to. If you're not the primary user for now, you will have to go through the program page, which I will show you shortly as well. And then if you're using Shipper Central, nothing should really change except for the location that you're sending to. And now let's take a quick look at the fee structure that I mentioned. 3 simple fees. You've got your upstream storage fee, which is right now less expensive than FBA. So again, that lends to that long-term storage. You know that your goods are going to go here and sit for a while. So there are 2 rate cards. You can ignore the current rate card because that's actually an outdated rate card. The new rate card that was effective August 1st, 2022 is what you're looking at. For now, currently, we're in that holiday season, October through December, 80 cents per cubic foot. Starting January, it'll drop down to the non-peak or non-holiday rates of 42 cents per cubic foot until September or till the end of September, and it'll ramp back up next year in October. Very basic, very easy. There's nothing that changes for long-term storage or anything like that because this is meant to be your long-term storage solution. It's meant to replace your 3PL or your own warehouse. There are also processing fees to process things in or out. So things like you're paying per case instead of the old system of paying per unit, how you do at FBA. And then same with the transportation. You're not paying per unit that you ship out. This is actually per cubic foot, $1 per cubic foot transportation. And that is That is for domestic only. So of course, if you're bringing things in through the Amazon Global Shipping, you're bringing in your goods directly from your factories, there's a different rate card for that, and you'll need to reference that. But for anything domestic, it is that $1 per cubic foot shipping cost. And that's it for the basics of this program. So I want to show you now how to access. So if you are enrolled, this is something you'll access through Seller Central. You're just going to go up here under the new navigation, go to inventory, store and distribute. And that's going to bring you to this page here. What I was showing you, this is the learn about the service page. That's what I've been walking through on this video. But to utilize the program, you're going to be under managed service. This is where you create your shipments. If you're not the primary user on the account and you can't use send to Amazon, this is where you'd come. And this is where you can track those shipments inbound to AWD. This is where you'll be able to view all of your global inventory. And then to move your inventory, either to send it upstream to FBA or to send it out to other channels, that's where you would do this here, step 3. And then step 4 is to track those replenishments. So these are things going from the AWD locations to the FC locations. That's where you would view that. So it's a very simplified program, and it is, like I said, still in beta, but they are taking new inquiries. So if you're not yet in the program, you can jump over to this page here, supplychain.amazon.com. There's going to be a link on that page for Amazon warehousing and distribution. There's some high-level program details on that page, but what you're going to be looking for is this Get Started button. If you're already enrolled in Amazon Seller Central, which I would assume you are if you're watching this video, you can just click the Get Started button. That's going to take you to where you need to be to get in the queue for this program. It's not going to guarantee you enrollment into the program right now, but it's going to get you in that line to be invited to the beta. So I encourage anyone and everyone who is interested to go ahead and click that and get started. Like any beta with Amazon, we need early adoption. We need people to get in there and start utilizing it and give feedback. If adoption is low, these programs tend to go away, although I don't think that will be the case with this one. But also, if people aren't using it and giving feedback, then any of the quirks and the problems that we've been facing with the program don't get fixed. And so the more we use it, the sooner we use it, and the better feedback we give, the better it will be edited and updated to meet what sellers are actually looking for. And if you need help beyond what's available through Amazon on these program pages, please reach out. We're always happy to help with any seller needs. Seller Labs has a variety of programs and products that can help with anything across your Amazon selling journey, and we would love to be the solution that you utilize for that.